Ooh, call me a train the way I'm about to ram into you. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Gamescast. Today and only today we are here to talk about the latest Sonic project, the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. A surprise April Fool's drop that has taken the fan base ablaze, actually, and I see what I did there, and just has stolen the hearts of a lot of us. I figured, hey, now that I've had time to process it, I've played and everything, I figured let's talk about it, review it, and all the aspects of it. Now keep in mind, for the most part, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. I will have a spoiler section at the end. I will timestamp it, don't worry, as well as the outro. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first, let's talk about how this project came to be, right? And it was the morning before April Fool's, where the Sonic account just tweeted, hey, we've heard what you guys would like to see from the series, and something is coming soon. Now, all of us expected an April Fool's joke. You know, the next day is April Fool's. Sonic has a history of joking around on Twitter. We were all ready for some joke. I don't think anybody took it really seriously in any way, shape, or form. But alas, not just, you know, it's not like we had to wait for April Fool's Day, but like a few hours later, they just drop a trailer for this game called The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog and reveal that it is a visual novel that was actually worked on by a small team within Sonic Team. It wasn't Sonic Team themselves, but it was just a lot of the people that work and love Sonic. You know, you had Katie, the social media manager, work at it. You had Michelle working on it. You had people from Twitter that I know casually working on it. You had artists working on it. You had one of my friends, Hedgehog, working on the pixel art. You had obviously IDW writers, you know, working on the dialogue. There's like a lot of familiar people within the fan base that worked on the game. And again, I cannot stress enough how awesome this is and how cool and important it is for Sega to continue to embrace the fan base making stuff, because we all know one thing about Sonic that's consistent, and that's that the fans love making cool shit, and I hope they keep embracing that and making more projects like this. And if you guys want, Katie has a full thread of the people that worked on it and how it came to be, but it's a project that's basically been brewing for a year, and it's a passion project within the team, and I hope we get more of it. But let's get right into it. I mean, you don't expect a game to be out there called The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it is a visual novel Sonic game, which is the first time we've ever had that in the series. And the way it sort of works is, first of all, lengthwise not too long. It's about 3 hours. I want to say 2 to 3 hours, depending, you know, how fast you read. We played in about 4 hours on stream, but that's because we voiced the entire thing. You can go watch that online. But yeah, in terms of that length, it's a solid amount of game. But let's talk about the story here. So the idea here is it is a train murder mystery party. It is Amy's birthday party, and they're doing a fun murder mystery. Sonic is not actually dead. Surprisingly, I thought, I don't know why, even when they announced it, I was like, wait, what's the idea here? I didn't like process in my mind that it was an actual murder mystery party, you know, but obviously, you know, you're trying to figure out what's going on, but along the way, you are introduced as an original character that a lot of people have just dubbed the microwave guy. I mean, you can name him however you want, but you are this little cute little OC character that is basically hanging out with Tails the entire game, because Tails is the detective, to help you figure out what's going on. And obviously, one of the most charming parts about this game is the cast, right? This game's cast is very much centered around the side characters that haven't gotten a lot of shine recently. You know, you get Rouge the Bat, you get Blaze, you get Espio, you get Vector in there, you get this new, what's called, this conductor guy. He's not there too much, but you get him in there. You get Shadow, of course, Big Chun, you get a lot of Amy, and not too much Sonic, but that's a good thing, again, because you need to focus on the characters. And like I said, you get Tails in there, that's a big part of it. And man, I gotta say, this was so cool. And it shows once again that Sega and the team understand that the cast of characters in Sonic are cool, right? And they're interesting, and they're fun, and we like hearing from them. And what was cool about this is, because this was a murder mystery party, all the side characters were playing a character within the game. You know, they all had a role, quote unquote. You get Knuckles in there, you know, wearing his cowboy hat. Also, seeing the cast in just all these different fits. I know I'm going everywhere with my thoughts on this, but just seeing the cast in different fits, trying to, you know, play roles of what they're doing at this party, and just hearing their banter within each other was just so wonderful. It was chef's kiss. And I think what I loved most about it is there was never once where I was like, oh, that's weird that you're acting like that. Like, the characters felt like exactly how I picture them in my head and how I always thought they were, you know, not this loose cartoony version, you know, that they've sort of been boiled down to, or not even shown really. I mean, I really think Shadow's characterization here is like some of the best it's been, you know, since 06, where, you know, you can tell he's got a heart, but he's still a little, you know, cold, but he's just so awesome. And again, you get so many moments. I want to give a big shout out to Tails, who's your little buddy here, is your little detective friend, helps you through everything. He's adorable. And Amy, oh my god, dude, I gotta say, Amy here, my favorite Amy in so long, and a reminder that as much as I love Sonic Frontiers, I do not like Depresso Mom Amy. I like this Amy, where she's smart, she's got her spunk, she's got her attitude, right? But she's cool, right? And like, that's what I love about Amy. You know, she still has her swooning over Sonic or whatever. She's still, you know, very, very white girl, you know, in a lot of ways. But she's just a cool character, right? And again, just Knuckles is awesome. The whole cast, very happy about it. Having Vector and Espio get spotlight after who knows how long was awesome. Seeing Rouge in their place, I was so happy with the cast overall. I mean, if you play the game, you know that their dialogue is so good. Now, obviously, I'm going on about the characters without talking about the story, right? So obviously, premise start, Sonic quote unquote dies at the murder mystery, and you're trying to figure out who. The way the gameplay loop works is you and Tails, you know, are going to different trains within the with different rooms within the train to sort of get clues to find out who done it, you know. And basically the way it works is you'll tap some items in the room and then you'll interrogate the people in the room just to get the info out of them. It's nothing too complicated. It stays pretty simple the entire time, and there isn't, I'm not gonna lie to you, like there's no, it's not like Ace Attorney where you can really fuck up. I mean, it's sort of like you get a few pieces of clues and then you tap one. If you fumble, you just tap the next one. There's no really failed states or anything like that. They keep it pretty smooth in that regard. But there's this cool little mini game you do when you're interrogating the characters where it's sort of pixel art, and they sort of play like special stages. You're just trying to get rings, and that's sort of the only like Sonic-like gameplay in the game. Like I said, for the most part, this is a visual novel. Nothing really besides that comes off as gameplay, and you play those sections with the pixel art quite a few times. In fact, up to the end, there's like a big boss fight with that. So really cool. Love how they handled that, and I thought that was a fun gameplay aspect. It was sort of a mix of like a casual visual novel with Ace Attorney mixed into it. You know, in Ace Attorney, you got to find the clues, then you have like your little court case, quote unquote. But yeah, no, for the most part, that's the flow of the game. Is you start in a room and you have these different dynamics too. You know, it's your OC character talking, you're talking with Tails, you're gathering clues, then you'll talk to Amy, then in another room you'll talk to Espio and Vector, you know, in another room you'll talk to Blaze and Rouge. Like it's really cool just seeing, you know, having the different moments where you're trying to figure out what the characters are doing. And again, like I said before, the characters, it's so cool to sort of see them go like trying to pick them apart, you know, and see like they're fumbling in their statements, what they're doing wrong and all that stuff. I love it. I just love the character dynamics they chose to, you know, combine here. Again, Knuckles has his cowboy hat and he loves Monkey Ball. That's a big part of the game. The Knuckles loves Super Monkey Ball, which is awesome. And you know, I gotta give props to the original character, right? You have a little OC in this game. Now, I'm not usually a big fan of OCs, but this one was super charming, right? Because he kept having this back and forth with Tails, and not just that, right? He had his little mini stories, you know, like he was obsessed with looking in trash cans. He was like freaked out by the cats. Like he was like, these people are weirdos, but he was intrigued by what was going on. He was befriending them. Like, I like your little OC character. And you have sometimes where you have like different dialogue options. It's not too deep, but it's there. There is definitely, I do recommend always not going for the logical choice first, because you will miss out on dialogue options, because a lot of the dialogue in this game is very charming. And try to click on objects multiple times because there's different dialogues that pop up. It's so charming and full of love. And again, just like a lot of recent Sonic projects, you can tell the people that are working on them care and they give a fuck, and that's such a big part of the puzzle that we've been missing for a long time, you know, with Sonic up until the past few years. I'd say like the past 2 years now, where like everything has felt like it's changing again. I'm so happy about that. Now, another aspect I gotta give mega props to is the art. The character art in this game is so dope. Seeing the characters in different fits, it almost felt like, you know, an IDW comic come to life. And obviously it makes sense. They had artists from IDW working on it, and not only that, like it felt like it from like, you know, a story perspective and everything, but the art is so good. See the different character poses, how expressive they are, you know, and all that. Just, I loved everything about the art style in the game. I honestly want to say too, in terms of characters, I think my favorite ended up being Tails. I loved little detective Tails, his little, you know, expressions, his back and forth with your main character. I thought, you know, obviously he's with you the whole time. Overall though, for the story, you know, without getting into the spoiler part, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It's definitely more of a character. You're definitely more happy with the characters, because because I feel like the story sometimes gets not convoluted, but very much them just saying stuff. Like, it's like, yeah, you needed the key to go into this room, to go into this, and then they found this, and then that person, and like they're sort of just talking sometimes. And the end game stuff is very like, oh, okay, this took the turn I probably expected it to go, but it is just a simple murder mystery. It doesn't try to do more than it needs to, and it keeps things, like I said, it keeps things fresh. It keeps you intrigued, right? But again, I do feel like sometimes the dialogue ran a bit too long in some moments. It's definitely a game that you could enjoy if you're not a big Sonic fan. I think you'd still like it as a casual, fun murder mystery with cute characters, but obviously you are playing a game like this because you give a shit about characters. There's people out there that, you know, would open this game and be like, who the fuck is Espio? Who the fuck is Vector? Because they haven't seen these characters in forever. I had a friend playing it recently and they were like, who's Blaze, right? And I'm like, you know, like we forget because we're so lost in the sauce that there's a lot of these characters that haven't appeared in so long as regulars, you know. So to see them in a mainline game, basically, not really mainline, but you know what I mean, like in a proper game where they're talking, is going to give life to these characters, and that's what I'm so happy about, man. I'm so happy we're bringing life to the characters and casting. It makes me so excited. You can hear it in my voice, you can see it in my eyes, and I'm so happy with all of this, and I want to get into some spoiler talk, so let's get right into it. Also, I want to give a mega shout out to the dynamic between Amy and Shadow, and the dynamic between Rouge and Blaze. Just immaculate. Please put these characters in more situations together. Please, 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 please. Let's talk about the murderer. Obviously, we find out it was Espio. You know, obviously, he's a ninja. It was the easiest thing to do. But what was wild here is he was misled by the bullet train, as a lot of us find out. The bullet train itself is actually a badnik created by Dr. Eggman. But actually, it's not even a bad badnik. It's actually a badnik that cares about the conductor that you meet in the beginning of the game and wants him to never leave because the conductor wants to stop traveling and be with his wife, which, you know, really random little plot line, but it's cute that, you know, his wife and him want to go live in Spagonia. I appreciate that little Unleashed touch. Obviously, Eggman gets involved. You fight the train, you know, and all this stuff happens at those little stages, and then obviously everything gets solved. But I love that final bit, you know, where you were finding out that it was Espio and him trying to defend himself because he was freaked out by everyone accusing him. I love that. And guys, oh my god, dude, the Shadow getting the concert tickets for Amy because it was her birthday was so cute. I love that. I love that. I love that. Oh my god. And guys, the post-credit image where we get Eggman and Sage in the middle. Sonic and Sage is wearing like a little bandana. They're so cute. I will say though, throwing Eggman in this story felt a little unnecessary. Not because I don't love Eggman, but it definitely felt like a game I would have loved if it stayed, like, you know, within where it needed to be story-wise. You know, it could have just been that the train, you know, turned evil just to, you know, keep its conductor and everything without needing Eggman. But again, it's fine. It was a minimal part of the story. It was within the last 15-20 minutes of the game, so you pretty much go the entire game without that. And even like without Sonic, I mean, Sonic really only shows up at the end for that part to help you. And man, I love his little outfit. I love Sonic helping you. He's the best, and you do those little mini games that I really enjoyed those. But yeah, overall, how do I feel about the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog? I think this is one of the most charming projects to ever come out of the Sonic series. I'd say the most charming, most likely. You know, it's obviously not a game, right? We're used to in this. I think this is the first Sonic game that isn't really a game. You know, I think out of all of them, it's a visual novel. You know, in some way they're games, but you know what I mean, right? Like, this was just a character focus, and I love that, and I want more of this. Please, you know, not only just games that aren't necessarily in the same genre than platforms, but just more Sonic projects, man. Give me more visual novels like this. Give me a Sonic rhythm game. Give me a Sonic beat 'em up. You know, just give me more stuff in this series because there's a lot of fans willing to work on cool shit. And I know Sega knows that. I literally know Sega knows that, and you know just generally that Sega knows from how they act with fans and how they are. So yeah, overall, the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog is one of my favorite things to come out of the series, and one of the best. I don't know, one of my favorite games this year. I just love the way I experienced it. You guys should go watch the fandom if you haven't. And I'm just so happy to see the side characters get love within the series again. So guys, let me know what you all thought about the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. What do you love most about it? What do you dislike about it? What future projects do you want to see from the team? And of course, subscribe for more, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.